We're talking of Rahab the harlot. We're continuing on our series, The Women of the Bible. The Women of the Bible. Last week, who did we speak about? Shunammite woman. Shunammite woman. But today we're going to be speaking on Rahab the harlot. It's very important to know that Rahab started out as a harlot. And it's good to know also, during that time, what was the punishment for the harlot. If you turn with me to the book of Genesis 38. Genesis chapter 38, verse 24. It came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot. And also, behold, she is with child of whoredom. Judah said, Bring her forth and let her be burnt. That is the punishment for the harlot. In those days, or in that time, harlots get burnt. Let's go to Leviticus 21, the book of Leviticus, chapter 21. In fact, that tells us, if you read from 9 to 14, it tells us about the priests of that time. The priests of that time can only get married to somebody who is a virgin. And if somebody is a harlot, they are totally out of the way. And how did this lady, Rahab, come from being a harlot to being an ancestor of Jesus Christ? That's what we're talking about this morning. How did she go from that? Because being a harlot, she can't even get married to a priest. And yet, she got married to a priestly lineage. How did that happen? The Bible tells us in Leviticus chapter 21, verse 9, and the daughter of any priest, if she profane herself by playing the war, she profaneth her father, she shall be burnt with fire. Burnt with fire. And he that is high priest among his brethren, upon whose head the anointing oil was poured, and that is consecrated to put on the garments, shall not uncover his head, nor rend his clothes, neither shall he go into any dead body, nor defile himself for his father, for his mother, neither shall he go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of the God, for the crown of the anointing oil of his God is upon him. I am the Lord. And he shall take a wife in her virginity, a widow, a divorced woman, a profane, an harlot, this shall he not take. How did Rahab go from being a harlot and being in the lineage of a priesthood? What happened? Let's go to Joshua. How did she do it? You know, in the Old Testament, there was no plan to convert the hidden into the chosen. In the Old Testament, God had no plan to convert the hidden into the chosen. The New Testament, Jesus Christ came, opened the door for the hidden to be converted to the chosen. In the Old Testament, there was no plan. But the thing is that this harlot called Rahab did not only convert into the chosen, but she was now part of the royal priesthood. It's not just a simple promotion. It's like double, triple promotion. It's amazing. It's amazing. So in the book of Joshua chapter 2, the Bible tells us in verse 1 that Joshua sent out of Shittim 2 men to spy secretly. He says, go view the land of Jericho. And they went. Now, the Bible tells us when these 2 men went, it's so amazing. He said, they came into the harlot's house and lodged there. Of all Jericho, when they went to Jericho, the place God wanted them to settle was the harlot's house. Of all places in Jericho, God led them right into the harlot's house to settle. The question is why? Why? And the Bible makes a big deal of this harlot. It doesn't hide it. Makes a big deal out of it. Something was in that house bigger than the harlot. Something God himself planted in the harlot. Something in the harlot that has nothing to do with man, that had to do with God. So they settled in the harlot's house. Meanwhile, they were supposed to be spies. What does a spy do? A spy goes secretly into a place so that nobody will know they came to do whatever they had to do. That's what a spy does. A spy is not going to be noticed. The moment a spy is noticed, he's no longer a spy. He's a dead meat. Right? But these 2 men went. For some reason, the city knew they came. The Bible said the king was told that 2 spies came. They came in the night. The Bible said, behold, there came men in hither tonight of the children of Israel to search out the country. So they knew they came from Israel. They came in the night. They came to search the country. So everything about them was known. They knew they were spies. They knew they were from Israel. They knew they came at night. They knew they came to search, to spy So, if they were meant to be spies, they were no longer spies because they've been caught. And they knew where they went. The king knew everything about them. When they came, where they went, and where they lodged. They're no longer spies. Their undercover operation has been blown open. The Bible said the woman, that is Rahab, took the two men and hid them. Meanwhile, the king already knew. The king already knew. But this lady was still ready to risk her life. So she took the two men, she hid them. And she now came to the men that the king sent. When they came, or when she came to the men, they were asking her, where are these men? I mean, she was doing all these things because she was convinced about something. She had not even discussed it with the spies. She started out protecting them without even letting them know why she was protecting them. Protecting them against the king of the land. Not many of us can do things that the president tells us not to do. It came to pass about the time of the shutting of the gate. So you see, the way this Jericho was, Jericho had a fence. You can't go in, you can't come out. But it had gates. And this gate can be opened at certain times of the day. And then every evening they will have to lock it up. And once it's locked, nobody can go again. So how come these men come and they are not going? So it says, it came to pass at the time of the shutting of the gate, when it was dark, the men went out. Whither the men went, I wot not. Pursue after them quickly, for ye shall overtake them. So what the lady is saying is that these men already left. They already left. Why don't you pursue them? You will get there if you pursue them. So that this is a lady protecting this man, putting her life in danger. And she said, you will overtake them if you do. But she had brought them up to the roof of the house. So she put them somewhere in the roof of her house and hid them. Verse 7 says, the men now pursued after this man all the way to Jordan. And as soon as they which pursued after them were gone out, they shut the gate. So they pursued them out of the gate. And before they were laid down, she came up unto them upon the roof. And she said unto the men, okay, now she started revealing her heart. She first of all acted her heart. This man probably didn't know why this lady was protecting them. The lady literally protected them, putting her life on the line. They were supposed to be strangers from a different country. But after the men pursuing them had gone, she now revealed her heart to let them know why she did what she did. She now said unto them in verse 9, it says, I know. The most important word there is I know. She's telling them what she knows. In other words, don't debate this with me. Don't argue this with me. This is not subject to change. I know. The lady is telling them what she knows. He said, I know that the Lord had given you the land. Imagine that. Imagine that. Living in our own country with our own people, surrounded by a fence, in our own city. Strangers come, and she tells the stranger, I know God, the Lord, has given you this land. I know. Who do you think put that in her? In all of the land, God did not see any other person but the harlot to put his thoughts in. God shared his heart with the harlot, and she received it. God shared his heart with Rahab, and she received it. You see how important it is? God shared his heart with Rahab. In spite of her low estate, Rahab received what God was telling her. It's powerful. What do you know? It's powerful what you know about God. Who is God to you? What do you know about God? What you know about God can save you. What you know about God can deliver you. What you know about God can take you from a low estate to the highest point. What do you know about the God Almighty? She was in a low estate. Low estate. But she knew something about God that most other people did not know. She said, I know that the Lord had given you this land. And look at another thing she said. He said that your terror is falling upon us. You know, these spies came to spy. They did not need to go anywhere. They just needed to go to that house, talk to that lady. The lady will give them everything they needed. She didn't hold anything back from them. She gave up her people for these spies. She gave them the information they needed. The question is, why did Joshua send the spies? Why? It is difficult to fight a battle if you don't know what is going on in the camp of your enemy. This has nothing to do with spirituality. In fact, the more spiritual you are, the more you know what is going on in the camp of your enemy. God will not send you to a battle without letting you know what is going on in the camp of your enemy. Amen? So Joshua, even Moses sent spies. They want to know what is happening on the other side. Imagine the prophets of God. God is taking him and his people out of the land of Egypt, cross the Red Sea. They are going to the promised land. Moses should have just marched into it, but no, he sent spies first. You must know what is happening in the camp of your enemy. God will not send you to a battle without giving you a glimpse. That's my next sermon for next Sunday. Let me not reveal it yet. So they went. This harlot told them in verse 9, he said that your terror is falling upon us. He said, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. Yeah. Pastor Brace, if you are going for a battle, and you know for sure that the people you are going to fight with, in their hearts, they have already melted. In their heart, they are already defeated. Won't you march to go fight that battle quickly before their mind change? He said that your terror has fallen upon us, and that all the inhabitants of the land faint because of you. Why? He said, for we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you. And when ye came out of Egypt, and what he did unto the two kings of the Amorites that were on the other side of Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed. They heard this story and they were faint. They just heard what God had done for them. As far as I'm concerned, Joshua did not need to send spies. He just needed to continue. But he needed to know what was going on in the camp of the enemy. What is going on? Are they putting up an army to fight us? Are they going to destroy us? How strong is the army? So this lady told him, we are faint. Your terror is upon us. He says, as soon as we heard these things, our hearts did melt. Fear. They are gripped with paralyzing fear. Life is not fair. Life is not fair. Sometimes when God makes us go through certain situation that he will bring us out of, is to put fear upon these enemies. They are always there. It is good for them to hear your name and fear. Oh, if God did that for him, I won't mess with him. Sometimes that's the reason. Sometimes we don't know why. Why will God let me permit this to happen? It's for God to take glory, so that when people hear about you later, the fear will grip them. They can't mess with you. They will think twice to come mess with you. He said, as soon as we heard these things, our hearts did melt. Neither did there remain any more courage in any man. Any man, no courage because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and in the earth beneath. As far as this lady was concerned, she doesn't want anybody to tell her anything. The God of Joshua is the God of heaven and upon the earth. She knew this lady does not have problems recognizing God. There are Israelites that have problems recognizing God, but not this woman. This woman was light years ahead of even the Israelites. God always had difficulty convincing the Israelites, but this woman, nobody needed to preach to her. She only heard. And she knew the God, the true God. I was ready to walk with God. She was ready to walk with the God. So she says, look at it now. She was trying to tell them, this is the reason I did what I did. I didn't do it for nothing. I know what I'm doing. Yes. It's not for free. It's not for free now. In America, nothing goes for free. You know, sometimes I get mails in my mailbox. They'll say, come for a special dinner in a 3-course dinner in the big hotel in the town. I said, what is the catch? And they say it's free. I said, well, what is the catch here? I said, what's the catch here? He said, well, we're going to be discussing retirement planning. Oh, that's where the catch is. It's not free. He said, then now therefore I pray you, swear unto me by the Lord. You see that? In other words, she is so convinced that this is the true God, and if they swear by that God, they will keep the word. They will keep the word. Because this God is just too real. He parted the Red Sea for them, parted the River Jordan for them, and made them to conquer big armies. This is the true God. So swear by this God. She was a harlot, but she was spiritually smart. Isn't that amazing? Spiritually smart. He said, swear unto me by the Lord, since I have showed you kindness, that ye also show me kindness. Show kindness unto my father's house, and give me a true token, a true sign, that ye will save alive my father, my mother, my brethren, my sisters, and all that they have, and deliver our lives from death. So this lady was fighting for her family, not for just herself. She was fighting for her family. She was smart.